From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 1989, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, December 16, 2015. As flood-soaked Chennai, the fourth largest city in India, struggles in the aftermath of devastating floods, the Hams who've been looking to give assistance are struggling too. Here's Newsline's Jim Dameron, W2JKD.
Even radio amateurs who've been able to travel to the area to provide emergency communications are being challenged by a scarcity of available power, as many of the batteries in their portable gear have long since discharged. The International Amateur Radio Union in India told the ARRL that an emergency net was established on 7.070 megahertz, and amateurs who are able to have also been making use of some local repeaters. Some news reports indicate that the band at 14.160 megahertz has also been put into use for contact with the National Institute of Amateur Radio with the special call sign AU2MTT. The president of the Amateur Radio Society of India, Gopal Madhavan, VU2GMN, reported, however, that with so many areas surrounding the city being underwater and cut off, ground transportation has been impossible, and even hams who want to travel to give assistance have been unable to get out. He was optimistic at midweek that with the floodwaters receding, the hams will soon be able to do more.
The amateur radio community has lost a businessman, a friend, and a devoted advocate and de-expeditioner. Robert Ferraro, W6RJ, the founder of Ham Radio Outlet, became a silent key December 4th at the age of 78. Ferraro's longtime friend and associate, Chip Margelli, K7JA.
Bob was really a great ham number one, and obviously a very successful businessman. I first met Bob in the late 60s. We kept in touch for many, many years. Went to the Burlingame initial location of HRO very soon after he acquired it, and have had a connection of one kind or another with Ham Radio Outlet through the years, through dear friend Jim Rafferty, M6RJ, who's also a silent key, and then my wife Janet, KL7MF, who's been the manager of HRO in Anaheim since Jim Rafferty passed away.
So tell me a little bit about how Ham Radio Outlet came to be.
It was an existing dealership in Burlingame, California, right by railroad tracks. It used to be a railroad station, in fact. And Bob, when he was looking to retire from the California Highway Patrol, enrolled in some business classes. I got to be quite the student of accounting, I'm sure. And although I don't know the exact circumstances of the acquisition, in 1971, he was able to buy the first store in Burlingame, and then it expanded throughout California. Then through the years, the chain expanded dramatically through acquisition of other stores where the owners wanted to retire or something like that.
There's lots more to the story, and you can hear it all on this week's Amateur Radio Newsline. We wrap it up this week with more on-air adventures of Santa Claus, who's traded his Yule log for an amateur radio log. 2015 has presented more than a sack full of opportunities to QSO with the big guy, thanks to amateurs with spirit, imagination, and more than a little creativity.
For the first time this year, the Battleship Iowa Amateur Radio Association, using the call sign NI6BB, is providing a round-the-clock connection to Santa's Shack in the North Pole on December 16th and 17th. Organizers who will be spending the night aboard the Battleship Museum say that Santa's own XYL, Mrs. Claus, may also put in an appearance on the HF bands. In New Jersey, the Santa's Workshop special event station W2S is on the air through December 23rd, with support from the South Jersey DX Association and the Old Barney Amateur Radio Club. Never mind Christmas cards, this Santa is sending personalized QSL cards, and Chuck W2CCW as serving as Santa's QSL QSElf. And although the Barrow Amateur Radio Club in Bethlehem, Georgia, already concluded their special holiday event earlier this month, Old Father 9 Christmas OF9X has just begun the long journey through the land of Santa again, starting at the Arctic Circle for the benefit of the Finnish Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. That journey doesn't end until December 28th, so that's not QRN you're hearing through your headphones, it's Jingle Bells. Turn on your rigs. It's beginning to sound a lot like Christmas.
Of course, the SantaNet continues nightly on 3916. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for over 37 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Jim Dameron, W2JKD, Chip Margelli, K7JA, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT, at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.